As a young citizen of India, armed with technology, knowledge, and love for my nation, with a vision of transforming India into a developed nation, I'm joining Shobhit University. What about you?
Very good morning to all of you. Shobhit Institute of Engineering and Technology, Meerut, a deemed to be university, and its centers of excellence, Center for Informatics Development Solutions and Applications, CITSA, and Center for Industry 4.0 Technology Studies and Applications, CITSA, in association with African Asian Rural Development Organization, ARDO, New Delhi, organized this weekly international webinar series on open source digital technologies towards self-reliant India, Atmanirbhar Bharat, 20th February 2021. On behalf of the Chancellor, Honorable Chancellor of the University, His Excellency, the Secretary General, ARDO, the Honorable Vice Chancellor of the University, and the faculty members of the University, and on my behalf, and as Professor Emeritus and Chairmen of the Centers of Excellence, we welcome our guest speaker of today's webinar, Mr. Gautham Nimmagadda, founder, CEO, Quixi, Hyderabad, Telangana State, India, and the participants from India and abroad attending this webinar. Under this international webinar series, these two centers of excellence of the university have organized 24 lectures so far in the area of open technologies to provision simple and economical IT infrastructure, a roadmap for students using free and open source software and reaching goals of Atmanirbhar Bharat. Open source software and industrial IoTs for SMEs. Free and open source software adoption and business model. Open data platform for smart digital government. Technology imperatives, make in India for self-reliance. Edge artificial intelligence, data governance for self-reliant India. Digital India, transforming governance and society. India's email service, citizen@indiamail.com in 22 constitutionally recognized languages. Ecosystem architecture for digital transformation. Education system cyber critical infrastructure. Seizing opportunities in open innovation and value creation network in the digital world for self-reliant economy. Ensuring food safety and compliance through technology. Digital India, urgent need for semiconductor manufacturing in India. Technology investment in agricultural value chain, role of foreign direct investments. Entrepreneurship and skill development. Artificial intelligence design pathways. The rise of platform economy, revisiting value chain governance. The era of automation, industrial robotics, and Industry 4.0. Indo-German perspective of technology transfer, skill gap analysis, and opportunities. The role of artificial intelligence in healthcare, current developments in diagnosis and vaccine research. Digital agri-tech and agri-startup perspective. Health informatics network value chain, e-health systems and beyond. Leveraging emerging technologies for ensuring transparent and traceable agri and food supply chain. Today is the 24th edition of this very important webinar series. Today we'll have the talk by Mr. Gautham Nimmagadda, founder, CEO, Quixi, a no-code, low-code platform, on the topic, unleash the power of citizen development for enterprise software development. Unleash the power of citizen development for enterprise software development. There are two aspects of citizen development. To be a good citizen of India is one aspect, is a human part. Another one is citizen development with respect to use of citizen power for enterprise software development. Enterprise software development is intended to meet the needs of an organization that already exists, and a system may be manual that is in place. There are challenges of enterprise software development with respect to need for quick adaptation, stricter security requirements, processing and storage of large amount of data, integration with other systems, need for quality post-release support, lack of skills in the development team. Enterprise software development in the present day is about finding problems nobody thought of before and creating solutions using technologies and its integration that remove all boundaries and seamlessly integrate all the functions across an enterprise. So, unleash the power of citizen development for the enterprise software development to bridge the app gap and also the shadow IT issue. Let me inform the participants, the list of topics in the webinar series is a growing one. Technology imperatives, technology investment, open technology, open systems, open infrastructure, open source software, open hardware, open data platform, open banking, open insurance, human resources development, startups in open technology applications, open society, industry 4.0, industry 5.0, edge computing, data governance, digital India, India's email service, open digital ecosystems, dark data, dark cloud, technology enabled food value chain, urgent need for semiconductor manufacturing to make digital India, traceability, enterprise software development, and new addition is citizen development. Atmanirbhar Bharat, the road ahead. It is our Honorable Prime Minister's Modi, Mr. Narendra Modi's 5 I's to make India self-reliant economy. The 5 I's are intent, inclusion, investment, infrastructure, and innovation based on 5 pillars: economy, quantum jump; infrastructure, that one represents modern India; systems, 21st century technology driven; vibrant demography, source of energy for self-reliant India; demand, whereby the strength of our demand and the supply chain should be utilized to full capacity. This was announced on 15th May 2020 by the central government. And also associated with that, there was a clarion call by Honorable Prime Minister, vocal for local to make it global. A demand-based economy system, which is self-producing and self-consuming, make in India, make for India, and make for global. The reforms announced have been systematic, planned, integrated, interconnected, futuristic for creating strong enterprises, generating employment, and robust supply chain. This is our intent. Digital world, the rise of platform economy, applications of big data, new algorithms, artificial intelligence, blockchain technology, open API, and cloud computing is changing the nature of work and the structure of the economy. Platform economy is the tendency for commerce to increasingly move towards and favor digital platform business models. The platform economy provides as an opportunity for SMEs and startups. Digital platform economy is emerging. Digital ecosystems are essential for digital transformation in the digital world. The fourth industrial revolution or Industry 4.0 is the ongoing automation of traditional manufacturing and industrial practices using modern smart technologies. The key technologies are A, B, C, D, E. What is A? Artificial intelligence, analytics, and operational research. What is B? Blockchain. What is C? Communication, cloud, IoT, 5G communications. D, big data, and E is ecosystem. A, B, C, D, E. It has to be adopted in every aspect of our services and productions. Industry 4.0 is today, and it will be Industry 5.0 is for tomorrow. And what we look for is Industry 4.0 supply chain meeting the goals of Industry 5.0 supply chain. Now, let us come to the today's topic, citizen development, bridging the app gap. Citizen development is business users with little to no coding experience building simple business applications with IT approved technologies like low code to improve their day-to-day productivity or an existing business process. There are individuals within the company who have access to a visual integrated development environment. With this environment, the citizen developer is able to use drag and drop applications, components, connecting them together in order to generate a new unique web or mobile application. Unique web or mobile applications. This low code or no code software empowers employees to design and build powerful applications which can grow and adapt according to the needs of the business. The need of citizen development. Citizen development, the concept of end users creating their own solutions might not be new, but organizations understanding the potential impact of empowering citizen developers with more powerful tool is. Organizations are noticing the value of citizen development. Business users building their own solutions is not new. People have been building solutions using spreadsheets and database tools for years, just without the approval of the knowledge of IT. According to a recent Gartner report, 61% of the organization either have or plan to have active citizen development initiatives. According to a recent Gartner report, 61% of organizations either have or plan to have active citizen development initiatives. Why there is a growing need for citizen development? The IT need. Enterprise digitization efforts are more mature. 40% of CEOs have reached scale for digital endeavors. More than double the propositions of digitally transformed enterprises from 2018. The result of a more mature digital business model is a never-ending IT block. The result of a more mature digital business model is a never-ending IT block. Researchers has found that 77% of the IT leaders and 71% of the business leaders agree that IT teams have a huge pipeline of new IT solutions requests, which are not being built. In addition to keeping an organization up and running from a technology standpoint, IT is under immense pressure to modernize the existing IT infrastructure and advance their organization's digital agenda by building a new business critical apps. IT cannot do it alone, all alone. Citizen development changes the game. Citizen development changes the game. How is the business impacted when IT is not able to deliver new IT solutions in a timely manner? Frustration among forward-thinking employees. According to one report, this amounts to 62%. Inability to meet key strategic targets, 50%. Missed cost reduction opportunities, 49%. Loss of competitive advantage, 48%. This is from the report on digital disconnect, a study of business and IT alignment. The benefits of citizen development is meeting the growing needs for apps. International Data Corporation predicts by 2023, over 500 million apps will be developed. International Data Corporation predicts that by 2023, over 500 million apps will be developed. And that is the same number of apps developed in the last 40 years. IT, with its limited resources, is never going to be able to build the apps business needs in time. In India, 14 crore farmers having 139 million operational farm holding needs apps for every operational holding. 139 million apps. We have got about lakhs of small and marginal enterprises and micro enterprises. Each enterprise needs an app. This is the last mile, apps, requirement. Address the shortage of skilled developers. It also governs the shadow IT. It boosts IT and business productivity. It break down silos. Citizen development is here to stay. Citizen development is the right way, and it takes the code out of coding. Citizen developer versus professional developer. Low code revolution is just getting started. Low code solutions help close the skill gap between citizen developer and IT professionals. Low code or no code development platforms rely on clear, easy to navigate graphical interface, giving users the powers to assemble and test working applications within the platform itself. Developers can then launch these applications for general use, all without ever needing to write a single line of code. I would like to inform the audience that when I was as a Deputy Director General, National Informatics Center, when I was implementing the National Animal Disease Reporting System by connecting 7,032 locations, on the time we adopted Microsoft Dynamics, which also facilitated the citizen development capabilities at the 7,032 locations way back in 2010 to 12. And why should you look for a low-code development platform? Low-code platforms all have the same basic functions to give a non-IT personnel the ability to create high-quality applications. There are a lot of low-code platforms, available in the market. Today, we will have a presentation from the CEO, Mr. Gautham Nimagada of Wixi, which has been rated by G2 Grid for low code development platforms, www.w2.com, with a rating rate of 4.9/5. And it rates Wixi as a niche higher performer quadrant. I used the terminology shadow IT while I was talking about little bit earlier. What is shadow IT? Shadow IT is the use of information technology systems, devices, software, and applications and services without explicit IT department approval. This is rampant, pervasive, and explosive even in the digital India paradigm scenario. Managed shadow IT is better known as citizen developers are an asset to their companies and their managers. This shadow IT has to be managed through citizen developers. From crisis to collaboration, letting citizen development promote agility. International Data Corporation predicts that by 2023, over 5 million apps will be developed. Let us now turn to the address on Unleash the Power of Citizen Development for Enterprise Software Development by Mr. Gautham Nimagada, our guest speaker today. This topic will motivate and galvanize the participants watching over telecast through facebook.com/Sobit University India or youtube.com/Sobit University in to establish Industry 4.0 agri-tech startups, at least one in every Gram Panchayat of the country, resulting in about 2.25 lakhs agri-tech startups to help 14 crore farmers of the country. Of them, 85% are small and marginal farmers having 2 hectares of the land or less. Let me introduce our guest speaker, Mr. Gautham Nimagada, to the participants of this webinar to know what does low code mean, why is it so important, who are the audience of low code products, what are the common use cases, how can we learn more about low code, what is citizen development, what are new low code and no code means, tools, and how to implement citizen development across the organization, and what are the outcomes of implementing citizen development. Mr. Gautham Nimagada. He is the founder and CEO of QuickC, Hyderabad, Telangana State, India. He has got over 14 years of experience in IT companies of all sizes, ranging from startups to large organizations in United States of America, Middle East, Africa, and India. Mr. Gautham has expertise in product ideation and execution, people leadership, general operations management, sales, and marketing. Gautham has headed various IT and GIS companies and handled key projects across various verticals, such as government, utilities, healthcare, ports and airports, etc. during his experience. Gautham holds a master's degree in computer science from the University of Iowa and a bachelor's degree from Chaitanya Bharati Institute of Technology, CBIT, Hyderabad. Mr. Gautham, we welcome you to the international webinar series on open source digital technology for self-reliant India, Atmanirbhar Bharat, to address on Unleash the Power of Citizen Development for Enterprise Software Development. We welcome you, and over to Mr. Gautham Nimagada.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the wonderful introduction. So it's a pleasure to speak with you, sir, and be able to present the views on citizen development to such a large audience through this opportunity on this international webinar series by Shobit University in association with ARDO. So you've covered a whole bunch of topics and you've introduced the concept of citizen development and no code, low code, sir. So I will also take the audience through a little bit of introduction, why we are doing it, why is it important, and then we'll get into the details of citizen development and how it's going to benefit the world. So let me quickly share my presentation. Kindly confirm if my screen is visible. Okay, sir. I believe it's visible. So
it's coming now. It's coming now.
Okay, sir. Thank you. So the fundamental aspect of citizen development is today the demand is on the enterprise software side. But as we get into the details, I'll show you how citizen development is going beyond business application software and into many more areas. So before we get there, I'll try to give a quick fact sheet about who we are, what is Quixi, and then we'll get into the actual topic. So Quixi fact sheet is the name of our company is Vivid Minds Technologies. Our product name is Quixi, which is a no-code digital transformation platform. We offer our platform as a software as a service, and we have customers across 15 countries, 50 plus customers, large enterprises, SMBs, governments, private, in more than 10 plus industries. So the beauty of these no-code platforms is that they are industry agnostic, and they're also any horizontal agnostic. So currently we are a team of about 90 with a dedicated R&D team of 12 headquartered in Hyderabad, India. So most of our operations happen from Hyderabad, India. So we are, proudly make in India, proudly Atmanirbhar Bharat. We are building for the world from India. So we are a award-winning platform, sir, and you did mention this in your introduction. Thank you for that. So we have been recognized as a leader in the no-code development platform space, and also in the business process management software as well, including there are many other verticals as well, like workplace innovation and workflow software. In addition to that, we are also rated as 4.8 out of 5 in the Gartner Voice of Customer report, which got recently published. And there are a bunch of other awards. I would not boast too much about it, but it basically shows that there is a demand for such a platform in the market. And that is why customers are embracing such a no-code platform, because they're finding a lot of value for their business and their operations. So let me start with why and what and how. So the crux of the problem being in enterprise software is there are hundreds of digital solutions deployed in enterprises. In a decently sized enterprise, there are hundreds of digital solutions. So the management and maintenance of them is a huge challenge. As you can see in this graph, depending upon the number of employees, there was a study conducted, and on average, you would have this number of applications deployed in an enterprise IT landscape. So there are two options generally that enterprises adopt. One, they go for ready-made products, which we also call off-the-shelf software, which they are configured or customized for that organization needs. However, because these are ready-made products, they are usually built with a certain level of rigidity in it. So the amount of customization that can be done is limited. It cannot be fully customized to the exact needs of a particular organization. So it is a common scenario that we see that processes are kind of re-engineered in enterprises to align with the software. It is counterintuitive. I never understood why an organization should change their processes to align with the software, though the software might have some good practices built into the platform. Every organization, depending upon its geography, depending upon its market, there will be processes that are very, very particular and unique to their organization, and software should enable a business to be able to digitize them the way they are. So the second method, if I want a whole lot of customization, the second method is to build custom software, hand coded, right? So the disadvantages of that is extremely time consuming, and the requirements are lost in translation. Why? Because the traditional methods of development is you would have this 5-6 types of teams where the actual business user would explain the requirements to the business to the business analyst team. The business analysts would document the requirements, and these documents are signed off. Then they go to the development team. which does not necessarily sit next to the business users. Now these development teams depend wholly and solely on the documents that have been created. And when the documents are being passed on like this, and from the development team to the testing team to the implementation training, and then it comes back to the customer. We have seen multiple number of times that that the software that was actually expected by the customer and the end delivery of the software, at least in the first round of iteration, is I wouldn't say vastly different, but it is at least different. And there are also famous jokes or memes on it. But keeping that aside, that problem is real. And because of this multiple iteration, it takes a lot of time to build the software that is required, and the momentum is lost. So when an organization, when it's in a business of, let's say, transportation, logistics, and it's trying to digitize its operations, so there is a certain momentum created in the organization in terms of change management. But when the project is not completed on time, the ability to sustain that momentum, to motivate the entire organization to adopt a digital mindset and continue the future on a digital road will reduce it. Then we get into this horrible vicious cycle. So this is a very, very typical scenario that we see in most of the IT projects. So because the projects take a long duration to be built, and during that building period, businesses are dynamic. That is the reality. Though we might say that you've signed those documents, that is the requirement, but that is not the reality of the world. So the objectives change, the business processes change, and a whole lot of dynamics change. So now, because of these changes in objectives, and because of the rigid process that is required to bring those objectives back into the development cycle, it causes further delay. And this further delay, we get into this vicious cycle. It increases the duration of the project further, and we end up in this horrible vicious cycle. So now, how do we get out of this? Right. So, but today the business need to be agile, especially I think after the pandemic, the businesses have realized that it's extremely, extremely important to be agile. It is extremely important to be flexible, and they are looking at digital technologies to enable them to move that faster. We have seen large enterprises, small businesses, medium enterprises, governments across the world. When the pandemic hit, we have adopted certain digital technologies that we didn't know that we could use and still work effectively. And it also spotlighted a whole lot of weaknesses in our current processes across the world. And this is not unique to any single organization or any single vertical. Across the world, across the verticals, a lot of processes that we assumed work very well actually didn't. In fact, they collapsed when the pandemic hit, because it caused a whole lot of disruption, and we depended on face-to-face, in-person signatures, or the IT teams being available at office only to be able to develop. So during the initial first few months, I think when the organization struggled, they began to realize that it is extremely important that digital technologies are fully adopted to transform the business fully, so that we will be able to bring in more efficiencies into the organizations. And in addition to that, we'll also be able to withstand any such disruptions. So today, the ability for the IT teams in an enterprise are extremely busy. The demand from the business is to build a whole lot of applications, whereas the IT teams are not able to catch up with that. As you can see, it is a total mismatch. And like Professor Moni has pointed out, IDC predicts that 500 million apps will be created over the next 5 years. but the capacity to build these apps with the current IT and software development skills that we have in the world is only 50 million apps. So this picture truly represents that. So it is totally unbalanced. So there is a 90% delta. Now, how do we fill that 90% delta to ensure that businesses get what they want? Right. So, and that is where it is also predicted that the 450 million apps are expected to be built on no-code, low-code platforms. And so I've used this terminology, no-code, low-code now. I've just introduced to the audience now. We will get into the details as we move on. So the IT teams, whether it is in-house IT teams or the IT teams that are software shops as well, to be able to keep up with the pace, to be able to keep up with the business requirements of the world, has been a struggle, and it has been a struggle for a long time. And we're kind of hitting the peak now, and which is why the low code, no code space is beginning to blossom over the last couple of years. So the solution for this demand supply gap, the avoiding that vicious cycle that we saw, to bring agility, to bring innovation, to bring flexibility to business, to allow them to fully digitally transform, is citizen development. I think this is a key solution that will play a major role in most of the organizations' digital transformation plans. As many of the studies have pointed out, more than 70% of organizations will adopt citizen development over the next 5 years. And we believe that by the end of the decade, that about 90% of the development will be done through no-code, low-code in across the world, not just in businesses, but in fact in various other organizations or various other groups, even consumers, individuals. A lot of this development, we believe that 90% of that will happen on low-code, no-code platforms, primarily through citizen development. So what is citizen development now, right? We are glorifying citizen development. We are saying that this is the silver bullet which will solve all the problems that we have. So it is basically it is kind of self-explanatory, but let me also try to define it. So if you are aware that out of the world's population, less than 0.5% of the world have the ability to build any software. Even if you consider the most simplest of skills in building software, it is less than 0.5% of the population of the world. Now we are expecting this small population with varying range of skills to build software, high quality, reliable software for everybody in this world. We want the WhatsApps of the world. We want the business softwares of the world. We want these wonderful platforms. Now, but that's not practically not possible. So as citizens, if we enable the citizens to participate and start building software without needing the IT skills that are required, so we don't have to go through you don't have to learn the any of these languages, software languages, whether it is web or mobile or server side languages, right? So for certain level of applications, it's not required. But unfortunately today, most of the softwares that are also more business process oriented are also built by software experts. So what citizen development pardon me, what citizen development does, it allows a regular citizen, the citizen of the world who does not have the IT skills, to be able to build software through a intuitive visual interface. So we call it a visual development platform, a rapid application development platform. So no-code platforms, it goes by different names, but at the end of the day, citizens will be able to build high quality, very useful, scalable software 10 times faster without having to know even a single line of, without writing a single line of code, and without ever even touching any book or any knowledge on how to code. All they need to know is how should I solve this problem. That is more important. So the focus now shifts from, what tool should I use to solve this problem, what language should I use to solve this problem, to how do I solve this problem, the real solution of the problem. So now this is where the focus needs, because we have like millions and millions of problems. So we need all our attention and ability to focus on the problems to build solutions for them, not figure out which tool to use, which language to use, etc. So why citizen development, right? So obviously what it does is it brings in a faster reaction time. So for example, we've had some of our customers, as soon as the pandemic hit, and they were not able to issue purchase orders the way that they were issuing earlier. So they quickly adopted the Quixi platform. They were able to receive quotations, compare quotations, go through that entire workflow, and issue purchase orders, everything remotely. So they were working from home, and still they ensured that they were able to issue purchase orders. Now they were able to do it in a couple of weeks. They were able to build that customized process specific to their organization's requirement in 2 weeks. Now, this is what citizen development brings, right? So because the business user knows what he wants, and he will be able to build it much more faster. And it, for organizations which have IT teams, but they are saddled with huge backlogs. Now, by bringing in citizen developers into the mix, it increases the development capacity. It is no longer that 100 apps have to be built by a team of 10, but now you will have another 20 citizen developers participating in this development process, and working along with the IT teams and boosting their development capacity. One of the most critical things that I believe is we are actually giving experts the power, right? So I no longer have to rely on a business analyst who will document, and he will take it to the software development team, and so on and so forth. So we are avoiding that chain and loss of requirements during the translation. Through citizen development, the user himself will be able to build software which he knows how he wants to use it. And when the business dynamics change, he will be able to make those changes by themselves. So that is a massive, massive advantage that citizen development brings to the table. And that basically changes the dynamics of how a business works. So software will no longer looked at as a compliance or a enabling software, but it will become a key key strategy as part of the overall business strategy. So it will no longer be a side topic, but it will become the central theme of any organization. And like I did mention, agility, it brings agility to an organization. So if something has to be changed, you know that you have the capability to also change your software to meet the dynamic business needs. So citizen development, because of the speed that it brings, 10 times faster, it brings that agility. And because of the boosted development capacity, now we'll be able to meet the demand. So slightly more pictorial on why citizen development, right? So like I said, it is 10 times faster, and coding will require a lot of time. However, as we move towards the value chain, towards no code, the amount of development effort that's required and the dependency on IT will drastically reduce. Pardon me. Will drastically reduce, and therefore it brings a lot of value to the organization, and because time is extremely important in today's world, and it brings that speed and agility. And on the other side, slightly not quantifiable, but it's extremely important, and it's more subjective, is the culture. It's the employee morale. So they begin to feel that we are working in organizations which are dynamic, which which respond to changes immediately. They have the mindset of employees begin to change. They will begin to believe that we are a dynamic organization who are set for growth. Now it will bring that growth mindset, it will bring that innovation culture, and it will transform the organization in its whole. So this is clearly, with all these pros, citizen development is the need of the hour. So these are some of the things that you can do with citizen development, right? So I will not necessarily go in the details, but basically you can automate certain processes. The example that I gave, where a customer automated their purchase request to purchase order process, you can optimize your business process, right? So what happens is, in an organization, you have a certain process, and then you could, with the ability to develop faster, you could actually keep changing your process, experimenting with your process, and figure out what is the right optimal process, without wasting too much time, and at a much lower cost. And it actually brings a huge benefit. The general problem that organizations face is that when you are set with a certain process, you do not end up you end up not changing it, because organizations feel that it's a huge cumbersome effort to again experiment with a new process. So unless there is something massively wrong with the process, organizations do not prefer to change it. So but with a citizen development approach, you would be able to quickly iterate and figure out the right optimal process. And we can, like I said, we can build customized applications that are exactly to the need of that particular organization. So citizen development also allows to manage the data that is built out of these platforms. So you automate processes, you optimize business processes, you build these customized applications, but what do you do with the data, right? So citizen development also brings in that capability on how you can manage the data, how do you get insights out of that data, how do you leverage the data to be able to build even superior intelligence into your organization system. It brings in collaboration, and like I said, it also brings in this culture of innovation, the culture of being dynamic. I think it got cut off, but basically it says NoCode Landscape, right? So you might think that NoCode is a fairly new landscape, which is true, but it is also true that NoCode, in its bigger definition, is pretty wide, right? So there you could potentially divide NoCode tools into three categories. So one on the UI side, the other on the data side, and the third on the logic side. Now, the ability to bring all of these three together is what is blossoming now. So having individual pieces has been existing for a while now, but the ability to bring all of this together so that you would be able to manage the UI, data, and logic in one place is what is blossoming and is making huge difference to the organizations worldwide. So, by the way, Quixie is there in this chart. So it's just a quick pictorial representation of what custom coding or hand coding is, low code is, and no code is, right? So you can see here, you have to write code, whichever language that you choose, and depending upon the need of that application, right? So you need pro developers who understand this particular skill set to be able to build software. And then you have the low code scenario, where there is some aspects which you can pick and select through a graphical interface, visual interface, and then there are some aspects where you would have to write code to be able to achieve the needs that you want. So which is why it's called low code. So there is still some requirement of coding to be done according to the need of that particular application. Whereas no code, the belief is that you would be able to achieve your business requirements completely through pick and select. So you absolutely not required to know any form of coding. So this is truly towards people who do not have any IT knowledge or IT skills, I would say. So primarily, no code forms the chunk of the citizen development, and even in low code platforms. So there are pieces of things that you can do as part of citizen development. So this is a quick peek into citizen development. As you can see, this is some screenshots out of Quixie. So you can see you could simply drag and drop and a field, and then you could name it. So this is how you build a user interface. Just drag, drop, enter its name, and then there are certain configurations. You pick those configurations, and you'll be able to do it. You build a workflow like this, completely visual. There is absolutely no typing in or anything, right? You just pick, select, drag, drop, and then you configure it, and you'll be able to build this mobile apps, web apps, dashboards, this whole bunch of applications. So it's a quick pick, but I would encourage all of you to check out all the citizen development platforms, including Quixie. So who can be a citizen developer, right? The answer to this question actually is anyone. It doesn't mean that the pro developers should not be citizen developers. So even the pro developers will find these no-code platforms extremely useful to build solutions which are not which do not require intensive or which are not specialized or mission critical applications. So but the real target users for this is business developers. So we would break them into two types of categories: citizen developers. So one is the end user, and then there are certain power users, right? So whom we also call champions, who always try to push the limits of what they can do with their capabilities. So no code brings in this capability for end users and also power users to be able to build applications. And like I said, pro developers also will use low code and pro code depending upon the complexity of the application. So the more complex or the more mission critical application, so you would definitely want to use pro code, and that is where our limited developer capacity should focus on. The rest of the 90% delta that we talked about should be taken up mostly by citizen development. So what is the right zones for using citizen development? So citizen development is this wonderful thing that we would all like to use, but we also have to be aware of where do we use it and where do we ensure that the IT teams take it over. So as the app complexity increases and as the organization's size increases, you would want these black zones to be taken up by the pro developers. And as both of these x and y axis reduce, obviously this green today is the sweet spot for citizen development, but these yellow and these red are also now being taken up slowly through citizen developers. And this data is 1.5 years old, and with every month, these greens are increasing. The yellows are becoming greens now, and the reds are becoming yellow. So eventually, I think over this next 1 decade, you would see most of it also being taken up by citizen development. But we have to understand as a strategy for every organization what can and cannot be done through citizen development, and what has to be done through fusion teams, where you would bring in IT teams and you would bring in the citizen developers, have them work together and build these beautiful solutions. So citizen development is not just for large enterprises. It is startups. I've seen many startups across the world use no-code platforms to build their solutions or their offering to their customers and build these MVPs, right? More minimal viable products, and check out the validity of their idea. And once they find validity, now in fact no-code platforms have gotten so powerful that startups have in fact begun to rely on no-code platforms as their IT support platform, and they are no longer building any additional, or they're no longer using any additional IT teams to build more software. So they're relying fully on no-code platforms. So and as we move to slightly SMBs, we've seen SMBs who are using no-code, low-code platforms, primarily no-code, to be able to build an end-to-end ERP or an operational software for their particular needs. Right, so they find it extremely cost-effective. They find it easy to maintain and manage, and they're able to digitize so much more, and therefore are able to bring in a lot of efficiency and capabilities into their organizations. So medium and large enterprises usually already have an existing IT landscape. So they're primarily using it to fill the gaps. So if let's say they have an ERP and a CRM, but there are a lot of other processes that are not yet automated, and they play a critical role in improving the efficiency of the business. So the large enterprises have realized that the no-code, low-code platforms, and by empowering citizen developers in their organization, will be able to bring in innovation and will be able to bring in a lot of digitization and truly take these enterprises towards full digital transformation. So a quick tidbit is also that the no-code, low-code platform, in terms of its size, is estimated to grow to a size of $187 billion by the end of the decade. This is a massive increase. As you can see, it was $10 billion a year and a half back, and now it's growing at a rate of 30% year on year to hit to grow to become almost 20 times its size. So this clearly shows that the future lies there, and and it lies there not because the technology is cool, but it is because the technology is bringing value to each of these organizations, to each of these stakeholders, and it is bringing efficiencies, and innovation. So we've discussed certain benefits of citizen development, but there are certain more interesting benefits as well. So it is future proof, right? The reason being that when you build certain application and something changes, now with no code you'll be able to quickly change. So you are no longer stuck with an older legacy system, right? We've heard, how many times we've heard this term legacy systems. So it will no longer be legacy system because it will be up to date. You can continuously change, evolve, and you always are ready for the future. And it brings in a sense of achievement, a sense of fun for citizen developers who participate in this movement. So IT is no longer looked at as this specialized skill where only certain nerds can do it, but it is something that now many people can participate and have the sense of achievement that they've built certain software. Remember, if you were a developer, then the very first program that you wrote, you had that delight, and that's what got you hooked onto building software. So now we will allow citizen developers also to have that fun through these platforms. And cost, no coding, and maintenance is something that we've already covered. Speed, ease of use. So it not only is easy to use and build just the software part of it, but also to be able to manage the data, to also be able to bring intelligence into the system. A lot of no-code platforms also allow extendability capabilities and ability to integrate with your existing systems or new systems that come into the landscape, and all of this also through no code. So they, through standard methods of integration, we abstract the ability, the complexity of requiring to integrate with another system and provide an easy visual interface. So I've gone on and on what citizen development can do and what are the various benefits and who can use it. But let me also tell you a couple of success stories from a Quixi point of view. So Cochin Port Trust, which is located in Kerala, is one of the major ports of India, and they've built a container freight station solution using Quixi platform. And with that, they actually so container freight station is basically these shipping containers that come in and out of the ports, these big metal boxes. So the entire import export processes of a shipping container is managed on this platform. And because now they were able to digitalize all of these operations and integrate with their ERP system for billing, invoicing, payment collection, and also with their HR system for allocation of gangs. Now they've seen a 25% reduction in cargo dwell time, because they earlier they used to depend on paper or Excel sheets and WhatsApps. It was unstructured. Now, through quickly developing this solution on Quixi platform, they were able to reduce the dwell time by 25%. So it is a real value that port is seeing with such a platform. Vans and Health, on the contrary, is a manufacturing organization, and it is into pharmaceutical manufacturing, and it is completely different industry to what Seaport is, and in spite of being located in Uttarakhand, which you would not associate with being very digital, the promoters of this organization they realized quickly when the pandemic hit that digital is the way to go, and they adopted Quixi platform in many of their operations. And one of the examples that we've taken is procurement, right? So their ability to procure and manage their inventory, to managing their production, because of the digital interventions that they've brought through Quixi, they were able to see a 30% improvement in their efficiency. That is a massive number, and it has brought in a lot of benefit to their organization. It shows the value that such when citizen developers participate, the value realization is fast, and therefore it allows for further innovation and further value creation. So success stories are what drives are what are driving the citizen development success story. Over the next decade, we will hear millions and millions of such success stories. If we had to build 450 million apps with citizen development platforms, then the success stories are the ones that will drive. And these success stories keep pushing the limits of innovation of the citizen development platforms. And we are continuously innovating, bringing in more intelligence, bringing in much more capability to handle many more scenarios. We also are continuously innovating on making it much more easier and intuitive for users to use it. So that was my quick take on citizen development. I would be happy to take any questions. Professor Moni, sir. Sir, I believe you are on mute.
Mr. Manish, is there any query from the participants? Okay. Mr. Gautham,
Yes.
it was a very professional and very innovative and insightful presentation, talk, address to the audience. And you have very effectively addressed the issues related to the power of citizen development, how to unleash for enterprise software development. Yes, that is one query which has come from Tarun Sai. I liked, and Mr. Faiz Akram. Mr. Tarun Sai says, I like the templates of solution readily available to use. So you would like to have any response, your suggestion, or and
Yes, sir.
how Mr. Faiz Akram, Dr. Faiz Akram is from Jumma University, Ethiopia. So you please address.
Sure, sir. So, yeah. So I think one of the aspects of citizen development and the no-code platforms is they give you these ready-to-use templates. You would look at these, just to give an analogy, there are these templates in PowerPoint or Word where you would want to create these documents. So there are also templates available ready to use concepts which you can take and take it as a starting point from which you can build more. So it has massively also helped a lot of our customers as well when they use these templates. And to respond to Mr. Akram's query on how is it changing business, businesses are moving towards being digital, and if they have to be digital, we are solving this key problem of skill shortage or cost and time. Through citizen development, we are empowering the business users themselves to be able to build the software that they want, through which they bring down the cost, bring down the time from idea to be able to deploy, and therefore they're also bringing in a culture of innovation. So businesses are massively changing, and we are seeing that right in front of our eyes from when 2020 started to over this last 1 year. We've seen this massive change in the approach of businesses when they've adopted citizen development platforms.
Okay, yeah, Mr. Tarun Sai, National Center Education, NCS, National Center for Education Statistics show that the female students and contribution to technology has reduced. Could this be a solution? Could this be a solution? Yes, yeah, please. Mr. Tarun says that the National Center for Educational Statistics shows that female students and contribution to technology has reduced. So it is a very pertinent question, and how women empowerment has to take place in contribution to technology. So he says that would this be a solution, Mr. Gautham?
That's a fantastic. So I will start by giving you an analogy. So when internet was not as persuasive as it is today, the amount of participation that we would see from men as against women, or from even if you take a larger picture of out of it, the participation of minorities in any of the economic building was much lower when internet was available, which basically democratized knowledge, which basically democratized information and the ability to participate. We have seen massive participation from various sections of the group, including women, including minorities, which did not get enough opportunities earlier. So this is a similar scenario with citizen development. Traditionally, whatever was the majority groups that have participated in development and in the building of economy of the world will now be complemented and augmented with women participation. because now we are democratizing the ability to be able to build software. So and this is one of the things that really keeps us going. We are on a mission to democratize the ability to build software, and this delights us, where people who earlier could not participate in this movement are we are enabling them to participate in this higher level of capabilities. Definitely, I think it will be a huge boost for women participation. Sir, you're on mute, sir.
Mr. Tarun Sai, it's a very pertinent question which you put it. See, this is the reason only the 4 centers of excellence: Center for Informatics Development Solutions and Application, Center for Industry 4.0 Technology Studies and Application, Center for Agricultural Informatics and E-Governance Research Studies, and Center for Agribusiness and Disaster Management Studies have been established in Soviet Institute of Engineering and Technology to involve and empower rural youths, both boys and girls, for their contribution to technology. Because the technology should be made available at the doorsteps to the rural boys and girls rather than they move to the urban area. And this is the only private university in India have established these 4 centers of excellence. And during this COVID period, for the last 6 months, in order to provide technology to the rural students and boys and girls, to be empowered, and we every week 2 seminars we conduct through the online with speakers from the industry and academia to motivate to establish startups, especially in the agricultural sector. So I'm very happy that you brought out a very important question, that the contribution of women to technology is reducing, and is very happy to inform that the empowerment of both boys and girls from the rural area are important, and also true in the urban area. There is another query from Sonam Gupta. Is Quixi is an open source app to use for any organization?
So there are 2 aspects to it. So Quixi is a open platform for any organization to use. So there is no restriction on which organization or which country or which vertical they would want to use. The IP that we've built is the platform itself that we built is the IP of Quixi. You're on mute, sir.
Please, there was an internet problem. You please say once again.
Oh, yes, sir. So Quixi itself is an open platform where we allow any organization, government, private, big, small, any geography, any vertical, any industry, to be able to use the platform to build digital solutions. The IP that we build, the platform itself, is the intellectual property of our company.
Hope it answers. It is an open technology platform. And that is the answer to the madam. Okay, and she's from Ordo. Thank you, madam. Thank you. Thank you. And it is very important that today in your address, and I'm very happy that the 3 participants, 1 from Ethiopia and 2 are from India, were able to ask a very pertinent question, and it's very important. And it is an open technology platform. It is not restricted. And second one is that the empowerment is more important. This can be a solution for all disadvantaged sections to use this technology to build up applications, and this can facilitate those who got capabilities and they can build up applications using this platform, even through under the mode of work from home options, that this is also feasible. That so it is very nice that Mr. Gautham Nimagada, you found time to address the audience in the international webinar series on open source digital technologies for self-reliant India. And he also very nicely said it that this is a part of Atmanirbhar Bharat. And this is a product is being built from Hyderabad, and it is also operational in more than 50 countries. It is very important that. And you also said it that they explained very effectively custom code versus low code and versus no code. And many of the students who are now outside out of the campus, engineering graduates and non-engineering graduates who have got some sort of an experience, they would like to be motivated. A lot of capability has to be developed on them to build up software applications. Digital India can be a big platform for them. And because our Honorable Prime Minister said it very effectively, Digital India is the way of life in India. And for an example, the doubling the farmers' income by 2022 committee report submitted to the government in 2018 by its chairman, Dr. Ashok Dalwai, has recommended the large-scale adoption of digital technology in agriculture. Volume 12B, Chapter 7, 8, 9, 10, with which I was closely associated as a chairman of this subgroup, which brought out the draft, which has been adopted by the main committee headed by Dr. Ashok Dalwai, in totality. This gives 7 recommendations for strategic use of digital technology in agriculture. You can see that adoption of low code or no code platforms for bringing in digitalized agriculture, digital platform agriculture economy. We have 14 crore farmers. 85% of the farmers are small and marginal farmers having less than 2 hectares of operational holding. 139 million operational holdings. And you have to bring in the first recommendation is smart irrigated system, irrigated agriculture, smart rainfed agriculture, and smart tribal agriculture. This can facilitate, this technology can facilitate any of the agri-tech startups you would like to vertically work with these farmers working in irrigated agriculture systems or rainfed agriculture systems or tribal agriculture systems, or for that matter, smart hill agriculture. 10% of the population in the world live in hills. They face food, water, and energy problems. That's why this university is now through this webinar series. It also hosted a webinar talk on smart hill agriculture. Now this has attracted the many of the stakeholders that they asked the university to establish an international center for smart hill agriculture from India to facilitate the stakeholders from Latin America to Pacific countries, region. And this is and then you see second one is digitalized agromet advisories and agricultural risk management systems. 6.5 lakhs villages. Agriculture is associated to the village. Agriculture risk management system, bringing in every stakeholders together is very important. It is a complex, digital solutions, but it has to be simplified in villages where even the village is complex, but we have to bring in simple solutions, digitalized solutions to the complexity of the village. Third is that a digitalized agricultural resources information system and micro level planning to facilitate smart village or smart farming. very comprehensive, lot of complexities, but it has to be minimized. You can't wait for customized coders to come and sit and do systems without knowing what is the agricultural systems. What are the problems which you talked about it will result in? I'm in the field for the last 42 years, and and I was instrumental in bringing in IT in agriculture way back in 1995. That because of that passion only made me to join the university after my retirement in 2013 to establish as an academic, discipline on agricultural informatics. This is the only university in the whole world to have a Center for Agricultural Informatics and E-Governance Research to train BS agriculture graduates and also other agriculture graduates to use IT for agricultural problems. That is agricultural informatics. And then fourth is that digitalized agricultural value chain for about 400 agricultural commodities in the country. It is huge. And for inland fisheries, is about 30 lakhs for fishermen are involved in inland fisheries. But if it is 30 lakh fishermen are involved in inland fisheries, it means that 2 times of these fish catchers are involved in the value chain systems. It means that it employs 1 crore population, inland fisheries alone. If it is digitalized, you can't wait for, it's a built-in time delay to build up applications. These are workflow applications. And then last is and India is a country which has 365 days sunshine. We grow food, agriculture, horticulture, fishery, and animal livestock. And sixth is that fifth is digitalized access to inputs, credit, knowledge, skills, logistic, to move from production farm gate to the retail, and then digitalized integrated land and water management. Every farm has to be digitalized with the digitalized land and water management. What can grow, what is to grow, why to grow, where to grow, how to grow, why not to grow. Applying all the technology solutions available on a piece of land for a farmer, farm wise and farmer wise. It's very important. Then, last one is that the farmer has to look into his own health, plant health, animal health, soil health, water health, and fishery health. These are all vertical silos. I have been, voicing and I have been talking to bring in that integrated farm health management. This also has been addressed by the doubling the farmers' income by 2022 committee report. Integrated farm health management. The whole world is talking about One Health, Eco Health, and I'm very happy that Honorable Finance Minister in this budget, has allocated fund for establishing, National Institute for, One Health. Means, human health and animal health. 85% of the disease which we get come from animal. Coronavirus is one among them. So what is needed is that we have to bring in a healthy informatics value chain network. It's not merely health information exchange with respect to human healthcare providers. Through to air pollution alone, last year 1 lakh people died in India. And so integrated health informatics value chain network is more important. Everybody has to be tracked with respect to this component: what he eats, what type of food he has taken, where it was grown, where it has come from, traceability, blockchain based traceability. And this can involve large scale amount of digital technologies for problem solving. This cannot wait for the custom coders who don't understand the problem domain. That is the situation we are seeing it. Agri-tech startups, a lot of IT students are getting into agriculture sector, not knowing the fundamentals of agricultural systems. And it's vice versa true. This problem can be solved through the agricultural informatics and low-code and no-code solution architecture. It is very important. And you also very nicely talked about the challenges, the problems that today's business need, the demand-supply gap. And you also said it that, the International Data Center brought out there is a need for 500 million apps. It is, I don't know whether it is appropriate to say or not because of our escalations between the escalation which has taken place between India and China. China has, brought out a policy that by 2040, every business enterprise, manufacturing enterprise, whether small or large, will have an individual app-based manufacturing activity. So this country also, we have got 3,500, urban clusters of industries, clusters of SMEs, 18,000 rural clusters of SMEs, lakhs of khadi and village industries. They have to be the part of Industry 4.0, value chain. Every individual, units have to have a specific customized app. We have to train them. European Union has taken European Union economies based on SMEs. They are now going for training the artificial intelligent AI path design ways for training SMEs, SME leaders for decision making. They want to make them as e-leaders, AI-based e-leaders. So we have a lot of opportunities. We can have more than 500 million apps. This is very essential. So the potentials are essential, and it is 2025 or 2030. But India has got a mission on digital India. It's a way of life, according to, as pronounced by our Honorable Prime Minister of India. So digital India is a way of life, means every aspect of our activity has to be digitalized. And apps is the way, and it is going to stay. And the low code or no code platforms are very important, and that has to be available in 22 constitutionally recognized languages. That's more important. And I am very happy that in your 1 hour address, you have touched almost every aspect of the value chain in this software development, bringing in use of low code and no code. And I'm very happy that this would have activated, motivated the participants and the younger generations, the youth, the vibrant demography will be in a position to establish their startups in the country. And my interest is that at least one startup with such technologies in every Gram Panchayat, because every Gram Panchayat will have the BharatNet internet connectivity. So with this one, this is potential is very enormous, and citizen developer is important for software development. And even though it is, you put it as for enterprise software development, it is for society 5.0. We need citizen development for making India as a society 5.0. So with this, and I also very nicely said it, that global market for platform is low code and no code platform is about $187 billion by 2030. It's a huge amount. and under the Atmanirbhar Bharat program, Abhiyan, entrepreneurs like you should motivate the vibrant demography in India to, to participate in this global movement to build up platforms. Through building up platforms, digitalize Indian, economy very effectively. Thank you very much, Mr. Gautham Nimagada, for your address to our audience. And so with university and African Asian Rural Development Organization, thank the participants and greet the many in the participants of this webinar series. For more research inquiries, please contact Professor Moni Madaswamy, Professor Emeritus and Chairman, CIDSA and CITSA, and former Director General, National Informatics Center, Government of India, New Delhi. So with Institute of Engineering and Technology and African Asian Rural Development Organization sponsored this program. We leave the webinar and leave studio.